this one, fantastic. Okay, so today we go to see the second part. Um, Today we go to see the way that I introduce the techniques and the technique. I will not go into the detail about how I introduce or how I do the little story. I was thinking, oh, I do a video, and like this you can have like if you have um, like if you are into one of my sessions. But after all, the most important it's then you can create your own way to present the session. And yeah, so probably finding your own word to do the presentation. What I will give you is all the information, and what we can do after. You can do a little when you do your guinea pig. I can check your presentation.
Yeah, I believe someone came up yesterday.
Perfect, perfect. So to before to dive into the different before to dive into the presentation, what is the most important as a facilitator? It's to build the trust with the participant. If the participants are not trusting you, you go nowhere. The reality is we go to put them into a situation where they think they die, and if they don't trust you to go through this, there's no way they go through. That's simple as that. So I take all the time 20 to 30 minutes before to start the session. First, it's to build the trust. And most important, the second is to read the people. I mean, the full thing, it's much more about your ability to read people and in a quick time understand what are their fear, how they function, and how you can help them to navigate through this. That's the main work as a facilitator. Good. Let me open my little thing up. If you want to change, why is not changing the screen? Thank you. Boom. Sorry. Just opening the shit that was open. Static cold water took light, that's this one, and open. So this one. Sorry, that was when I was looking for your link. We are back into cold water immersion. Safety and protocol, it's mastering the eyes. That's this one. Perfect. So at the beginning, yes, it's to build this trust, read the people, and go. That's again not the right document. It's this one. Cool. Okay, the technique is very simple. There is like basically there's 4 stages. We go very quickly on the 4 stages together. There is exactly 3 breathing techniques or adapt by stage. So the first stage, don't worry, you will get all these to PDF and PowerPoint, it's for writing, there's no problem. The first stage, it's adaptation. The second stage, it's sensitivity. Before I was using pain, now I change. Sometimes I say sensitivity or pain is depending on the group. The second stage is comfort, and the fourth stage it's determination. Why? Oh, I forget. What is important? It's when the people come into the session, especially the first time. I explain to them what we try to achieve is not to stay into the cold the more longer, or it's not about to be into the cold. It's to observe how our minds function and how we can overwrite our minds to achieve what we want, more than to stay into the cold. So, on the first thing, I take the time to explain, to say to the people, the moment you sign to come to this cold water immersion, what happens? You have a little voice in your head. We start to say, oh, that's maybe not for me. Oh, maybe that will be too dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And what we start to work, it's about this little voice. That's our main, that's what stops us to be absolutely fantastic. That's this voice. So, to stop this voice, we have one first tool, it's knowledge. Because when we don't know what happened, when we don't know where we go, when we don't know about the sessions, we leave a room, a space for this little voice to start to imagine a lot of things and create fear and stop the people to evolve. So that's why the 20 minutes, 30 minutes hour is to me present, but for them to ask all the questions that they have, to make sure before we start they know exactly where we go. That's limited the impact of this little voice. And where we go in, that's back to the fourth stage. We have this fourth stage. And I speak first of the fourth stage, like this, they know where we go. And after, I go step by step for every stage. First stage, adaptation. More or less, it take, it's depending on the people. Some people will stay into the first stage for 1 minute, 1 minute 30. It's not so much about the time, it's about the way that they breathe. To explain the first stage, I first explain how the body functions. It's a thermoregulation. The body is automatically stay at 37.5 degrees, doesn't matter what. That's our hypothalamus gland into our brain who regulates the temperature of the body. That's part of the primitive brain. When we enter into the cold water, we activate this primitive brain, and this primitive brain take over about our brain. That's why we can't think anymore. We can't control. We are in survival mode. So, this primitive brain have a couple of tools to keep us at 37.5. The first tool is to take us out of the cold water. So, persuade us to go out of the water. So we need to override this order and decide to stay in. When we override this and we stay in, this primitive brain will keep this survival mode and will adapt to the cold. Now, the breathing technique to go through, it's a simple inhale to exhale to the nose. This inhale to the nose, exhale to the mouth. Sorry. Inhale to the nose, exhale to the mouth. There's 3 specific phases to this breath. The first one, it's alternate the inhale to the nose and the exhale to the mouth. As we enter into the cold water, the first reflex is a gasp reflex. People will they struggle with the breath. That's when the primitive brain starts to function. To take over, to alternate nose and mouth, It's a very good technique for the person inside the cold water, but also for us to know where the person is in taking back the control of the breath. Because of the gas reflex, either if the breath is very short, and they are like this, but if they manage to alternate, that means they take back the control. If they can't alternate, that means they are going into a panic mode. They are still into the primitive brain action and it can't take over. Once they manage to alternate the breath, we can start to help them. So anyway, when they, I'm always face to face to the person, and when they start the gas reflex, I breathe with them, and I show nose and mouth, because their brain is frozen. They not understand all the time the word. So we use the word and the visual. That helps, depending how the people work, that helps them to catch up. When they alternate the breath, we start to help them to extend the inhale and exhale. For this, I use my hands and breathe on the same time than them to make sure that we go to work with the full capacity of the lungs on the inhale and the exhale. Think that this is the thing we don't do during the day. We work with 20% of the lungs or 30% at the max. So we want to help the body by bringing more oxygen. When we share, they use the full capacity of the lungs. They're nearly out of the first stage, but we need to help them to slow down the breath. So that's where also I use the visual, the gestual to make, so they need the inhale slow, but keep maximum of air and same for the exhale. When they manage to do this, they are out of the stage 1 adaptation. That's mean they control the mind and they control the breath. By slowing down the breath, they help to slow down the heartbeat. When we are out of the stage 1, it's nearly win. It's a winning. That's the most difficult part. At least we are out of a panic effect, and that's the first thing that we look is to make sure people are not going into the panic effect and hyperventilate. So we save. Stage 2, we start to enter into the sensitivity, that's the pain. Quick explanation, because it's all the blood who go to protect all the vital organs like the heart, the liver, brain, all the extremities have less warm blood. So all the nerve system is much more in contact or alive with the cold. So this amplifies the cold. One of the little story that I use to explain, when I finish this, what is very important is to explain to the people that the stage 2, it's how we deal with pain and to learn how to deal with pain. For this, I have 2 stories. It was strong and good. The first one, it's happened, I say like this. It's happened to everyone when we were kids. We was playing, probably outside with in the bush and blah blah blah, and we do a little scratch either on the arm,
In the bush.
in the bushes or in the forest or whatever, outside or in your room. You do a little scratch, and you don't look the scratch. You don't have pain. The moment you look at the scratch and you realize you scratch your arms or your legs, then the pain enter and come bigger. And this is how it's a nice explanation about how the relationship between consciousness and pain is connecting. The more we focus on the pain, the more the pain extends. Same thing in the life. The more we focus on the problem, and the more the problem looks bigger, like a fucking mountain, it's just a little hill or stone. It's not even this. So, how do we do to focus on something else when we have the full body under the water at 3 degrees and everything is sensitive? Again, we have only one way out, or not one, it's different, but the way that we use is to use the breath. And here the breathing technique, we still alternate the breath. We're still working with the full inhale and exhale, but we go to hold the breath as long as comfortable inside so after every inhale, we're holding the breath as long as comfortable. What I do when I have the group, I use, so either for the first stage, I make them breathe. Inhale and exhale. I have to take 3 inhale and exhale with them to make them breathe the full capacity of your lungs. When I enter into the stage 2, again, I ask them, okay, stand, take the chest up, and we go to do the breath together. Take the long inhale, and here is one of the key. It's on the first exhale, I ask them to focus on the shoulders and to relax the shoulder. On the second exhale, I ask them to relax the shoulders and the arms. On the third exhale, I ask them to relax the shoulders, the arms, the legs, the full body. As I do this before, it's just to print to them and train them to go on this 3 stage. That will be very important because I will use the same stage after into the ice bath. So I create a link there to catch them up with the way to relax and using the exhale. So basically, when we're sitting into the chair before the ice bath, all these breathing techniques are super easy, absolutely not challenging. Good. Then when I explain to them, we go to do 7 times this breathing technique. For 7 times, we go to relax different part of the body. I use most of the time the 3 last part or the 2.
After the third, you do 4 more or you do 7 more?
No, in the total, when you two are, so when I do the explanation only on the group outside of the ice bath, it's just 3 as a demo. Then
Okay.
when we are into the ice, it's 7 in the total.
Okay.
7 is the minimum. If I see that the people are not stable and they still fight the cold, then I do more. If you see that the people, sometimes you have people, they inhale, they will not hold the breath long enough, and they exhale, I make them come, I don't count this one, and I make sure they hold the breath. Holding the breath have 1, 2, 3 big advantage. The first one is we bring warm air with the inhale. And as we're holding the breath, we keep the warm air into the lungs and around the heart. That's the more vital part of the body. That's the part that the body wants to keep warm. And so we're helping really the process of adapting here by sending this warm air directly around the heart. So the longer they hold the breath, the better it is, but we don't need to push. That's one.
The second one.
The second one, when we
That's the first one.
yeah, the second one, it's that slow down the breath. So at the first stage, we try to slow down the breath. That's good. But by holding the breath longer, we slow down the breath. We trigger the nerve system at first, but we help also the heartbeat to slow down. The more the heartbeat slow down, the better it is, the faster the body stabilizes. And that's helped to reduce the nerve system to calm down. And the third one, it's this effect that we use in yoga, that's using the exhale to relax the body, but also to relax the mind. And it's really a key. You will see when the people start to exhale and you ask when they're into the water, you can see when you say relax your shoulders and with the exhale, some people they will exhale and they will still like this, they fight. Okay. You will see the moment they let it go, they use the exhale and they relax, and it's a win. The moment they manage to do this, it's a win. You lead them for a couple of breaths until they fully relax. And it's really a step by step. Once they fully relax, you are out of the stage 2.
How long? 1.5 minutes?
It's depending on the person. Most of the time, it's when you arrive into the 3 minutes. It's depending
Okay.
how long the people hold the breath, blah blah. But
Yeah.
generally, it's around.
But the fastest about another half minute average.
Yeah. And here you have two options. If you see that the person is relaxed and smile to you, that's fully relaxed. So what I explain when we enter into the stage 3 comfort, there is no specific breathing technique. I will come back on this because there is one, but I don't work with this one straight away. There is no breathing technique. I invite the people to find what works for them to help them to release the stress. When we stress, we all react differently. Some people scream, some people cry, some people need to think, some people whatever. So it's an invitation for the people just to say, find the thing that for you will help to detach from any stress. Some people need to chat. Some people will close their eyes and meditate. That's a free space where they can experiment. And as a facilitator, we try to read the people and try to read what will work with them. I can see these people want to chat, some not, and blah, blah. It's really just supporting them on their way. Here, couple of trick for as a facilitator. The first one, when I see them, the people relax and start to smile, I use, when it's past the 3 minutes, I question them about how they feel. I say it's cold, but it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And I help them to remember the 2 first stage. They say, did you see the 2 first stage? How it was difficult for you to catch up with your breath, so you don't manage. Then I resume the stage 2, how they feel. Blah, blah, blah. This chat will first consolidate, will make stronger the belief into the process they've been go through, okay, and realize now they are into the comfort zone, and this will kill 1 minute 30 chat. So you arrive into 4 minutes 30. Most of the time I don't give the time before the 3 minutes. When they reach the 3 minutes, I say, you're already at 3 minutes, and they say, already? And with a little bit of chat, when you pass 4 minutes 30, you can say, you see, you already have 4 minutes 30, and they can realize they are nearly done because it will only 1 minute 30 left. Stage that's the comfort zone for people who for the people who come for the first time. For people who struggle or people who come for a couple of times, there's a third breathing technique that we can use. It's the same box breathing technique that we use on yoga. When you're using to the yin class, it's you're holding the breath after the inhale and after the exhale. That will help to stabilize more the people, to ground them a little bit more and slow the breath much more. So when you have people arriving to the comfort zone or past the 3 minutes and it's still not totally stable, I use this breathing technique to fully stabilize them. Okay, now stage 4, that's determination. Okay, honesty, determination.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the stage 4, determination. Determination will be very short for all the first timer. because it takes time to go through the two first stage plus the third one. So most of the time determination is nearly not exist. It's much more for the people who will come for the second and third time or more, because they reduce the stage one, they stabilize the breath very fast, and they stabilize the stage two very fast, probably in less than 1 minute 30. So they enter into the comfort zone very early compared to the other. And then we have a longer time into the comfort zone with wave of instability. So they need, we have a back of the call coming, and we need to catch up with the breath and blah, blah, blah. That's the determination. Determination, it's to target these 6 minutes to cover, like we see, that's the production of called shock protein. That's for the physical aspects, but also there's the mental aspect where the 3 first minutes are the uncomfortable time. Okay, so if we stop on the first minute, if we stop at the second minute, or either when you stop at the third minute, the memory of the experience, it's very bad. It's for the fight. There's nothing pleasant inside. And then people have to deal with this memory after. It's much more difficult to come back. And when you go over the 3 minutes and you start to enter into the comfort zone and you start to fully relax into your comfort zone, you create a new memory. And that's what is super important. That's where you give the time to the person to realize how strong and powerful they are when they control the mind. That's when everything people are like, but after all, it's not so cold, and they can relax and they can chat, blah, blah, blah. So we create a totally different experience. And to give the time to this experience to go into the brain. So we have the physiological reason and the mental reason to target the 6 minutes. Good. That's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. Cool. After this, most of the time, I ask if there is any question about this different stage, blah, 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 blah. The question helped me to understand what are the fear of the people, where will be their struggles, or where are their beliefs into the mechanisms, and what I will need to help them to go through. That's why it's nice to push them to ask a question. Then I go back on how to enter into the cold water and how to coming out of the cold water. Why I keep this at the hand? Because people have the short memory working. When you give them a lot of information, blah, 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 they will not remember everything. But the last thing that you say, they remember much better. So I emphasize, really I say this is the most important part. It's when we enter into the cold water. I explain there is 3 markers and I give them are very important for me. The first one, it's to know where and how they go to sit inside the ice bath. First reason is because the moment they come close to the plunge, close to the ice bath, their little heads, the little voice in the head will be very loud. Blah, 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 and they will not think so much. That's the way to think will be much more difficult. So if they know where to go and what to do, that's give them a goal. Wait. So that's the first. I want them to know where to go. When So it's the sitting posture. Now into the sitting posture, you have people who will go sit this way.
Yeah,
Avoid.
that's what I do.
Avoid.
Why?
First, because it's very difficult after to adjust the level of the water. Okay. Because what we want is to bring the water under the shoulders. It's the most uncomfortable one. Versus, you go to sit here on bum like this. This one gives different advantage. The first one, you can adjust. You can have the water here, and you can come in to bring the water above the shoulder level. That's where we want to go. Second, if it's cold, you can bring the knees close to the chest. You can roll your arms, and here you protect, you help your body to protect all the vital organs. So that's really helping to keep warm. Okay? Arms out of the water, that should be like this. And if it's not cold enough, you can open and enter into your sitting posture and expose the full body.
I need to check in the hot thing because they've got a step on it, you know, like a sit.
Yeah.
And when you sit, you can't put all of the shoulder. There's quite a bit of the shoulder who doesn't go inside because the sit is quite high.
What we
That's
want.
why I kneel myself, because if I want to cover up to my neck, I have to kneel inside.
Okay. If you can kneel inside and cover, that's fine. The thing is, you kneel, it's you can't. If someone is struggling, he can't help by covering his chest and protecting the heart and the lungs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's quite a versus one. Also, neck. So there's different level. We can speak about the level of the water. You want to have a full cold shock. You want to have the water at least above the heart. Otherwise, it's useless. Coming at least a collarbone. That's here. Every centimeter from the collarbone up to under the neck are very difficult when people start and they didn't go straight away deep. That they will struggle. Now, why to go up to the neck? It's because behind the neck, on the back of your neck, you have in a medicine, in a Chinese medicine, on acupuncture, you have a very strong point to activate to boost your immune system. And we want to activate this point. Also, that's to emerge the more of the body that we want to emerge to have a good result. That's help to lower the body temperature up to 11% as we leave the head out. And yes, so the more part of your body you have out, the less temperature, the less percentage you can drop down the temperature. That's for the level of the water. Yes, on the sitting posture, we was to enter into the cold water, the technique. So that's to know how you sit inside, and the most important is the breath. Again, that's why you keep this point a little bit after. You need to exhale when you enter into the water. You need to breathe out all the air. That's probably one of the most important things to do as we start, because as you enter into the water, from the belly to the chest, you active your gasp reflex. That means you And if your lungs are full, that means if you take an inhale and you dive and you have a gas reflex, you have the sensation of suffocation. And from here, you go straight into a panic mode, and it's very, very hard to help people to go through. So the exhale helps to empty the lungs. Like this, you're ready to get your gas reflex, you enter, and you can have massive gas reflex. You still have a lot of room in your lungs to manage your gas reflex and to slow down the process. That's an exhale. And the third recommendation to enter into the water is to enter the faster as possible. The experience is uncomfortable anyway, it will be cold anyway. The faster you enter, the better it is. People who enter slowly or people who stop into the process of enter, so they stop at midway. Sometimes you can see people just stop just here under the wrist. It will take several minutes to help them just to have the level of the water coming slightly just up above the heart. So really important to help the people to go as deep as they can. That's the process to enter in. Now, very interesting, I keep also the process to go out at the end of the explanation because I can clear 2 points. The first is when you're coming out, we need to reverse the blood flow. So to reverse the blood flow, that will depend where and the temperature outside. Okay. Here in Goa, I can ask the people just to move for quick movement for 1 minute 30, that's fine. But if people are in a cold weather, that can process go up to 15 minutes or 20 minutes. What we target is not only to reverse the blood circulation, to make sure we have a flow back and we cut the survival mode in terms of blood action, and also we start to help the body to warm up from inside. Now, people will say, can we take a hot shower? Wow. The hot shower, that's what we use to cut the effect of the cold, okay? If we do so, we shorten the benefic process. We have, as the body, especially, there's a difference when we warm up the body with water or air. It's very different. And the water will really, hot water will really switch the process off. And what we want is to let the body warm up by itself. Why? Because that's when the body starts to work with what we call the brown fat. So the brown fat, it's something very interesting. The brown fat, it's what the body uses to warm up the body. Okay? This brown fat will take every sugar that we have into the body and use it to keep us warm. That's why sometimes cold water immersion, especially the ice bath, can be used to help people with insulin deficiency, to rebalance the insulin deficiency. So that's one another topic and subject, but we want to not speed up this process. It's quite nice when you have a sauna to go into the sauna because the warm air will help to warm the body, but not as fast as if you go into the water. So better when people have the choice, better to go into, yes, warm sauna. If, example, you do this during the winter and it's -2 outside, and you need to find a way to warm up, sauna is a fucking good option. Otherwise, any exercise are very good. If you do push-up, if your people are into a gym and they want to do some muscle exercise on the machine, running on the whole list is very good. There's one thing, but I never go into the science of this, so I'm not sure. It's using the ice bath before the exercise will help to boost the testosterone, so that will help to build a little bit more muscles on the whole list. But I never go into checking the facts, if it's a full fact or not. So I start to put this into my information, but it's quite good also. We can do ice bath after training session or before training session. Yeah. Cool, that's our stage 1, 2, 3, how to enter into the water, how to coming out to the water, blam boom, blam boom. The very important point as a facilitator, it's how to help people to go through this different stage. One of the things is, we spoke at the beginning, is the trust. The second, that will be to keep the eyes contact. When people enter into the Sullivan mode, into the eyes, it's like when you're afraid someone. If you boo to someone, first reflex, you close your eyes, you close yourself. Some people, when they enter into the cold water, the first reflex is to close the eyes. When they do this, they stay alone with that little voice into the head. It's a catastrophe plan. In 90% of the case, you don't want this. Plus, they will not hear you. They give you the instruction of breathing. So it's important to tell them to keep the eyes open and the eyes contact. And you keep this until they stable. After, if they want to close their eyes and do what the fuck they want, they can. They stable. That was the way to deliver the instruction. Oh, I forget. After the eyes, after coming out, I give a warm tea. The warm tea, it's especially because when people walk with the hands into the cold, into the ice bath, the hand is one of the most sensitive things. So to hold a cup of tea, it's very nice. I keep this for the hand for the last part of the sequence. It's also to explain to the people to put the hand inside the cold. It's not fundamental. If the pain of the hands is the reason they will go out, take the hands out and leave it there out. Okay? And then it makes the experience a little bit more easy. I need to come back on the deal. I do a deal with them. Yes, I come back after this. So that's for the hand. When you see that people struggle, sometimes people enter and they have the hands inside their ass, and they start. You see they can't alternate the breath. Take the direction. Take their hands, put the hands outside, put your hands, contact hands. It's like holding the hands when someone is panicking. It's reconforting. You create a link, you create a connection. We need different connection with the people. We have the voice, but sometimes it's not working. There's the visual and there's the touch. So you have these 3 tools to create a link to support the people into the different phase until they stable. Back with the hands, in, out. Yes. What I say to the people when I finish my explanation is, remember, what I say at the beginning is not about how long you stay into the cold. It's about how you keep the control of your mind. So there is a maximum time into the ice bath, it's 6 minutes, but there's no minimum. If people want to go out after 30 seconds, fine, they can go out after 30 seconds. There's a way to go out. Because what we try to control is the little voice. So what I don't want to see, and I explain to people, I don't want to see you reach your limit and panicate and coming out because you can't take it. That's not the way. You want to keep the control. So before you start to panicate, you look at me and you say, oh, Yoko, can I go out? And I look at them and say, take one more breath, think about it, and ask me again. So, hey, take a breath, they think about it, and they, Yoko, can I go out? And I say, yes. This is victory. You achieve your goal. Doesn't matter if it's for 30 seconds or 6 minutes, you keep the control of your mind into a stressful situation. That's why we are here. So for some people, they manage. You can see depending how the people struggle. You can see, you know after really when you can push them a little bit. And when they take one breath, and they come back and say, yeah, I really want to go out. And you say, can you take one more breath? And you can. Or if you feel they are just at the reach of the limit, they will fall apart. Yeah, you let them go out and that's it. And the very important thing is when they go out, it's to keep supervising them. It's much more important to supervise them when they're coming out before 6 minutes than when you do the complete circle, because there is what we explained before, all the trauma of the experience, and we don't want them to stay into a traumatic memory of the experience. So we need to find all the way to positive the experience and put all the points on what they did that was good and what can empower them. Also, one of the things when we're coming out is because most of the time the pain, the little voice win, but she wins with one specific tools. It's then the pain is too strong and people think they can't take the pain anymore. So when they're coming out, we wait that they stable mentally, but also physically, and we can help them to say, oh, look, it took you 1 minute to not feel anymore the pain. So you was thinking you would die, and now, you're good. So it's just to keep back this, to make them realize that the full experience was not so traumatic, and yeah. So it's very personal after with every people, and so we need to find what's right to every people. Okay, I think for yes, that's more or less it. Any question?
So how long do you count in total per customer? 10, 12 minutes?
It's depending. That's a good question. It's depending of the people. So what is good? It's when you have a big group. It's a little bit more difficult to manage in terms of time, but it's also better because the groups give a dynamic that is stronger. People are much more stronger. Take people who did already before for the first time, like these people can see it's possible and it's manageable. Bam. Because if you start with someone who will do a failure, that will impact the full group after. So you really want to make sure that you first one you go in.
Definitely, you kill them before they come out. No, you stay. Shut up.
So after what the thing I did now, it's when people arrived at 4 minutes, they are inside. I ask the next one to be ready, so to go to take the shower and to be ready to come. Like this, when they finish, up, I just make sure they make the warm up, so that an extra max 1 minute. I have the second one, the next one is ready to come in, and I can switch straight away to the next one. You can calculate 10 minutes per person. Now, you have person who will take 7 minutes because it's 30 seconds before, 30 seconds after, and you can have people who will take 20 minutes just to enter. And so it's difficult to I have one girl that was a session I did like this season. Oh my god, actually she wrote a very nice review, but she had all the psychological issue that you want before she was the last one of the group. That was a group who was coming to do a yoga retreat here on the every year, and she took me nearly 30 minutes, between 25 minutes and 30 minutes before she can enter into the ice bath.
No.
She entered into the ice bath, she did the 6 minutes. But that was a long, yeah. But it's a very good example that it's the preparation before to enter, the trust, that's what will make the difference, and to unlock the mechanism of the fear of the people. So it's very difficult to time after, depending, yeah. But most of the time, because people when they come, they are already into the state of mind to do it. It's make it easy.
Yeah.
It's make it easy. The case of this case, where it's a difficult. Well, it's not only this case. The more difficult is when you have a group of friends who come, and you have a friend, come, and you have one or two who are don't feeling it at all, and they've been pushed to come, and then you need to unpack all these things because there's no motivation, there's so many things, and that's what takes time. Yeah.
And also passing them at the end, there's the build up while the others are passing. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, there's a build up, but also that's like I said before, it show that the experience is possible. So
I don't know. I think for some it put extra pressure. They're just like fucking hell. They're all doing it. You know those kind of people who already say yes, not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to.
It's a positive pressure. It's as a facilitator, it's much more easy to unlock this pressure than when the person come and think she can't do. That's much more difficult. The pressure, because the pressure for the other thing, we use the same thing in yoga to say, it's not because people around you can do, then it's a problem, then you can't try, and blah, blah. We have a lot of argument. It's easy to unlock. Compared to the, no, I can't do.
And if the people are shaking inside.
Yeah. The shivering is it's a good question. The shivering is totally normal. The shivering, it's a body reaction to warm up the body, okay? Again, that's an action to activate the brown fat in one way, but it's a mechanism to warm up the body. So it's important to say to the people, you can checking shivering inside is not a problem. Just take care with the teeth. The only thing that we stop is shivering with the teeth. We don't want to damage any teeth or bite you by the tongue. But otherwise, yes, absolutely not a problem. It's a
So it's
warm
not
up.
an indication that they need to go to come out. That's important to tell them.
Absolutely not. Yeah. It's a healthy and good reaction of the body.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
any other question? Did I forget something? Yeah. And the one thing I don't speak with them, it's how they feel after. Yeah, that's the surprise effect, because after they feel super happy. And that's a little bit, that's where, okay, as that's where we can walk, so we can speak about this happiness thing. That's probably the only thing that I know, as it's powerful as the cold water immersions. You have this with the swimmer, but with the ice bath, because it's so intense, when you're coming out, you, because your body active the survival mode, you have the feeling that you survive to something impossible, and this bring you a satisfaction level 10,000. So
Yeah.
that's not only the dopamine who will make you happy, you have the sensation that you achieve something and you realize how powerful you are. So for us, especially if you work with people who suffer of PTSD or suffer of depression or suffer of this, we can really use the after to reboost and help them to rebuild inside. That's a nice work. That's a very nice work, a nice tools.
Cool.
Cool, good. I think I did the full thing. What I will do, it's